What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Full Press Hockey Weekly Show, Pucks After Dark. We told you we'd be back for more of them here on a Saturday night. Get it at Full Press NHL on Twitter, Full Press Hockey Facebook, Full Press coverage on Facebook, FullPressHockey.com, Full Press coverage on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. It is Hockey After Dark, baby. And I'm your host, Jim Berenger, rocking and rolling with NWO members Chris Wassel and England behind the scenes. We are here Saturday night, holiday mood. We're into December. Chris, always a pleasure, buddy.
It always is. It's Christmas, guys. Well, close enough. For those of you who work during this holiday season, like Jim and I do, say a prayer for us. Because it's look. Basically, the best way to put this, we do a lot of work, and then in December, every editor, creator, and such wants to jam everything in before Christmas.
And not to mention, we work through Christmas through New Year. Why? Because that tournament everybody loves is coming very soon on December 26th.
Oh, the boxing one that starts on Boxing Day.
Right. December 26th, World Juniors, they start, but that's down the road. Today, we're here. We got a lot to discuss, a lot jam-packed here. Hockey After Dark, Pucks After Dark. We got to take over, because Pac-12 After Dark's over. Well, that's another show for another day as well. But let's start off. Big news out of the week. Patrick Kane, Detroit Red Wings. What a move. What a get. What a steal by Stevie Yzerman. And it's a good deal for both teams. Both sides, I should say.
Yeah, isn't it nice when something comes out as a win for both sides in this case? And
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it's great.
It's great. It's great for the Detroit top six. It's great for their power play. Still doesn't help their penalty kill, but
no,
But
Kane's not paid to play defense.
No, Kane don't do defense. No. It's like Allen Iverson in practice.
Yeah, it's true.
Practice here.
Practice. Talk about practice.
Practice. But that doesn't matter for Detroit. Detroit needs offense. They need to score goals. At times, they're just going to have to outscore their problems.
Absolutely.
And Patrick Kane provides that added sort of punch that you're going to need as the season goes on. Now, obviously, particulars and such, he probably isn't going to play until sometime next week, maybe next weekendish, depending on who you want to believe.
I gotta believe it's sometime next week before the weekend.
Yeah, just kind of like just like move it along a little bit.
I think it's sometime next week, to be honest. I mean, the way he was saying it, he said he could have played Wednesday night. And I kind of have to believe him, because if he's feeling pain-free for the first time in a couple of years, that means the surgery was successful. Now, Steve Yzerman did say, you can't really know too much without talking to the player and then talking to his doctors, and you have to get permission from the player to talk to the doctors. And a one-year deal, look, it's risk-reward kind of thing. There were reports that he was potentially going to get multi-year deals from certain teams. Still don't believe that. I think he was always going to get a one-year deal from whatever team he chose. And look, Dallas, Florida had to clear cap space to make this work. Even Vegas, a bunch of teams had to clear, especially Dallas and Florida. They had to clear cap space to make this thing work. Buffalo, I don't think he was ever going to go to Buffalo, as much as it would be a cool story to go home. Buffalo's just not in a position to win. And I think Detroit, the big factor besides the travel, I think Alex DeBrincat being there is a huge thing. Let's not discredit chemistry, right? It's only been 3 years since these two guys played together in Chicago, and they were dominant. They were combined for like 45 points when they played together, maybe more. But look, it's not like Drouin and McKinnon in Colorado. Their chemistry was back in junior, and they hadn't been together on a same team in a long time. We know what these two guys can do. The power play is going to be awesome with that pass. Patrick Kane can still make a pass. He can still shoot the puck. Is he going to be the Patrick Kane of old? No. But I do believe that he may buck the trend when it comes to this surgery, because we saw with Nicholas Backstrom in Washington, and we saw with Ed Jovanovski. Those guys, a little older, it's tough to come back from. I know Kane's going to be 35, but I just got a feeling this thing might work out. It could work out long term for Detroit.
It could. I mean, look, again, Kane is not being asked to do what those guys were, though.
Right, exactly.
That's the key point. So he's going to be able to preserve, let's be honest here. He's going to be able to preserve himself a little bit better than previous players that have had the surgery.
I agree.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to get to that other thing too. Something with pectorals and.
Oh, you mean Dougie Hamilton? Yeah, we'll get to that too.
The tri-state pectoral blues, as I like to call it.
Yeah, exactly. But look, I think Kane to Detroit's a great option for them. It's a 1-year deal, $2.75 million AAV. Look, if everything works out, they can sign him to a 35-year-old contract type deal next year in the offseason.
String it along.
Go year by year with this thing. I think, look, Detroit, the way they're playing right now, you add Kane to the mix, I think they're a legit playoff team. I'm not saying they're going to Stanley Cup, but they could make some noise in the playoffs with Kane. And let's be honest, look, was Kane to Detroit Kane to the Rangers a possibility? Kane to Detroit was always a possibility, but Kane to the Rangers, it was. But Chris Drury didn't want to go through he went through last year, where he was basically Kane forcing his way there. And then Gerard Gallant feeling that he needed to play him on second line and on a power play and ruin the chemistry. They didn't want to do that because everything was working for them right now. Here, as I asked Kevin Allen the other day, it's going to be interesting. Does Derek LeBlanc put him in with the Brinket right away? Does he have to earn that ice time? Does he have to earn power play time? Like, it's going to be an interesting and fascinating thing to see over there.
Right. Do you have to shelter Kane at first, though?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Just to get him, I mean, how much, how do I put this? How are you going to get him up to speed without taxing him too much? Put him on the power play.
Right, exactly. Put him on the power play. Let him do that. Because even though the Wings' power play has been better, it could be taken to the next level when he's there.
Yeah, you have to do something that just sort of like, okay, you don't have to play him in the top six. You could kind of like mix him in a little bit, but again, emphasize more of that power play time. That'll gradually bump up his minutes. It'll get him at least used to the pace of what, let's face it, NHL speed is like, because it's been a while for him.
It has been a while, and practice by yourself is different than
it's not
practice
the same
with your teammates. Morning skates are not the same. There's not the same intensity. It's going to be interesting to see what his first game looks like. All eyes will be watching for sure.
Yeah. This better be on TNT, damn it.
Oh, I hope it is, because it's going to be a great game whoever he plays. Wherever he plays and whoever he plays, it's going to be fun. And speaking of interesting matchup here Saturday night, you got Nikita Zadorov, who was traded from the Calgary Flames to Vancouver Canucks. He's facing his old team. Zadorov, we know since Hockey Hall of Fame weekend, wanted out. The Flames make the move with the Canucks. Didn't really get too much for him, but they utilized cap space, right? And that's the big thing we've been talking about on the show and throughout the summer, cap space. Look, we know what happened in Chicago, the Corey Perry situation. This allowed Vancouver to move Anthony Beauvillier's $4 million over to Chicago and open up some space. And both teams understood. See, now with that, it allowed Canucks to keep all of Zadorov's salary, and Flames don't have to retain because you're only allowed to retain 3 contracts.
Right. So it's another case where everybody wins,
Right.
I mean, yes, sure, Zadorov is on his 5th team of his NHL career already.
That's a lot of guys. That's a lot of teams.
He's a third of the way to the Mike Sillinger.
Yep.
The gold standard of guy who played on more teams than I can count. And the difference is, look, Zadorov's going to have to, earn his sort of, stripes here, so to speak. I hate to say it, but you're on that many teams.
It's either you
or the team.
Or you or the team, right? And look, I think he's going to fit in great with Rick Tocchet. I think I personally thought Vancouver was going to get Tanev. I thought Tanev was a better fit for them. It would have secured their second-line defense, but I think Zadorov does the same thing. He's a physical presence. Rick Tocchet will get him in line. And this helps the Canucks in so many ways, who've been struggling a little bit with their D, especially, up and down since their hot start. It's interesting with Calgary, despite being where they are in the wild card race, they're still moving players, and I don't think they're done yet because Chris Tanev's name's still out there, Noah Hannafin's name is out there, and they understand the value of cap space. And you mentioned it before, New Jersey, Dougie Hamilton, torn pectoral muscle, talked to some trainers. They're like, yeah, usually recovers 8 to 12 weeks, could be a little bit more, could be a little bit. It all depends. And he's on IR. He's not on LTIR, which makes going after defensemen even harder because you still have to fit that $9 million in.
Yeah, remember the degree of surgery was not as intense as what we saw across the river with Ben Harper.
Right.
What happened? The difference is what happened with Ben Harper basically is I wish I had an anatomy guide with me because I know too much about this, unfortunately, from dealing with sports doctors. But basically, the pectoral muscle on Harper was actually fully detached.
Like Cody Rhodes.
And arguably worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Because basically what they're saying with Harper right now is, and he even said this in so many words, I may be ready for training camp. Ladies and gentlemen, training camp next year is 9.5 months away.
Right.
So what does that tell you? He had the worst of the worst, whereas, say, Dougie Hamilton, if you're going to have a pectoral muscle tear, it might have been the best case scenario.
It might have been, but again, this is where, as I said, I put on Twitter yesterday, if you could stretch it to 4 to 6 months, you can get him back for the playoffs and say, hey, let's get you ready and figure out a way to bring in a defenseman.
They're not going to afford to do that.
No, they're not. And the problem is as you've seen now, it's a lot like with the Rangers, they can't really replace Hedl or Fox or Kakko because, okay, you still have to fit that salary in somewhere. So this is where, like, if you're trading with Calgary, you're going to be like, well, we need to retain, hence why they couldn't take on Zadorov. The Devils had offers in. Toronto had offers in on both guys, and Toronto needed Calgary to retain on both guys. Devils, the same thing.
How much can you retain?
How much can you retain? And here's the problem. It's the same issue now. If they go after a 10, if say New Jersey does, Calgary has to retain at least 50% on that to make this thing work.
Right.
And a rostered player is probably going back the other way.
Yeah. That has to be.
Right?
There's no other way around this at this point.
No, absolutely not. There's not. And that's where, like, you look at New Jersey for a minute and you say, okay, well, their goaltending is not great. Well, of course it's not great. It was something that should have been addressed in the offseason, and it wasn't. Guys take some time to find their new surroundings. We're going to give Meyer the benefit of the doubt. He was hurt, and he's still figuring it out. Andrew Burnett not being there definitely hurts this team. But you're saying, okay, well, they need a goalie. Okay, so who you getting? Jake Allen? That's a lateral move to what you have now. Is Gibson going to waive his no trade clause, no movement clause to come to New Jersey? And, oh, by the way, he makes $6.5 million. So you're going to need Anaheim to retain at least 50%. And do they want to do that?
No.
Saros, I mean, is he going to stay? Is he going to go?
You know what? I know people keep saying no, but the more I keep seeing this freaking horse crap that's going on in Nashville, like today, Lankinen starts.
Right, exactly. Lankinen
against
starts
the
against
Rangers.
the Rangers. Yeah.
I mean this isn't the first time. I've said this to a number of people, and don't think I'm entirely nuts. If we had swapped Brunette and sent Ruff to Nashville, would the Devils be better off right now?
They would be.
Because as crazy as this sounds, I mean, Brunette is stuck with like freaking Pintos on a team, that can't generate anything at times other than winding up in the penalty box. He's got a couple stars, and he's got a goaltender that gets hung out to dry so often that literally he wonders.
I don't think, and as much as people say Barry Trotz is talking with UC Sard about a possible extension, again, Nothing official until official. Remember, Connor Hellebuck wanted out, and he ended up saying the same scenario could happen in Nashville. I just think I'm not sure with Askarov in the system. Do you keep Saros? I mean, they did it with Rene. They did it with Rene and Saros, but I just can't see
this.
it. No, I can't see
I
it.
think you're kind of just they're gonna kind of string it along, and eventually come probably March, things will start rumbling. The teams will start calling.
Yep.
Something may or may not happen, but you definitely better believe some teams are going to sit there and try their damnedest to get a who is it? Let's face it, a very disgruntled UC Saros right now.
I would say so.
No matter what is being portrayed in the media right now down in Nashville, and believe me, we all have wonderful stories of Nashville from the mid-90s.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
And how their media treated some.
Yep.
Yeah, we remember. Believe me.
We know. We know. But here's the thing: like Saros is there, right? So you have Saros. Yep. Does Askarov come up? Like, I know teams are, they're saying, oh, well, maybe Askarov. I don't think teams are going to be trading for Askarov.
No.
There's no NHL sample on him. Like you
and
look
let's
at,
face it,
like,
are they going to trade for a character?
No.
Right now, no.
They
need a proven product.
Exactly, they do. Hence why, like, you see Edmonton, they're probably just going to stick internally with Jack Campbell as much as they need a goaltender.
Right.
Yes, I know Montembeault re-signed and extended in Montreal.
Yep.
But again, Jake Allen better than Jack Campbell? No.
Look, Jack Campbell's not that bad of a goalie. You have to figure out a system that kind of doesn't keep breaking down the way it has. And look, it's not just defense with Edmonton, and it's not just goaltending. It's the team defense, particularly your forwards that wind up just sitting there hanging their defensive teammates out to dry, and then the goaltenders.
I agree with that 100%. And the defense is starting to get better. McDavid's getting on a tear. Draisaitl's playing well. But again, New Jersey and Edmonton are vying for the same guys for the goaltenders.
Right.
And there's other teams out there as well. So what's out on the market? And do you have in your system better options? For New Jersey, they need to play better defense. Simone Nemec looks great. Luke Hughes looks great. He makes a mistake here and there. Okay,
get these guys some more time.
Get these guys more time. It's the veterans that are making the mistakes.
Yeah, this is the bad part.
The Hamiltons, the who else is there? I'm trying to think. Ball makes his mistake, but he's still young. But it's those guys. It's this, like I said, Siegenthaler, Marino, Hamilton, guys like that are making the mistakes constantly.
Over and over again. Yeah, I mean the bad penalties. I mean,
and you saw it in Edmonton too with Nurse. He's starting to turn his game around. So good defense helps goaltending,
right?
Because then you're not always relying on your goaltender to make all of the saves.
Right. I mean, look. So, we'll jump into this really fast and make this really simple. So, the dumb coaching move of the week. Here we go. Lindy Ruff, what are you thinking? Starting a goalie who just faced 50 shots the night before. I don't care if he has a 2-hour trip up the turnpike. You don't do it.
No. As bad as Vitek Vanacek has played, you don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, look. All right, so I saw this with Akira Schmid in the USHL even. On back-to-back starts. Just not the same guy. And some players are like that. They just don't have just don't have it.
All right. Here's a scenario that maybe could have been done last night.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rangers have done this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They've actually done this a couple times this season.
Yeah.
Schmid started Thursday. Give him a break, period.
Yep.
Don't even have him be the backup.
Right.
Bring up Kincaid or bring up somebody to back up Vanacek.
Yeah.
Is that not a bad idea?
It's not bad at this point. It probably would have been the right move at this point.
I mean, like, again, I'm not in the front office. I don't know the ins and outs of, like,
cap room's there. That's
cap
not an
room's
issue.
there. You can do it. I'm not saying you can't do it, but I think that this team probably should have done it. And again, Brendan Smith getting suspended doesn't help.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't help this team.
I mean,
but
other than
that team should have beat the San Jose Sharks.
But if you had read cheap plug, if you had read my gambling.com column, you would have realized that you could have seen this coming from a mile away.
Oh, you could have, because why? The New Jersey Devils always play down to their competition.
And look, this happened at the start of the season. Does anybody remember that? Oh, I don't know. New Jersey beat a certain team, and then the next night clunked against Arizona.
Yep. They beat Detroit to open the season, and then they no-showed.
They no-showed against Arizona. So this is a team that does not have whatever it is in the tank that they need to show up on back-to-back nights right now. I mean, there's lots of other issues, but this was definitely one you at least could kind of peg and see coming.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. So we're gonna see what New Jersey does. I mean, do you think Lindy Ruff goes?
I thought he should have won at the start of the season. Before the start.
Right.
But
does he have outs? Can you say, well, Hamilton's not there, Hughes hasn't been here, he sure hasn't been here? Okay, but what was the excuse at the beginning of the year?
They're going to point to injuries all they want, but look, he should have been a short leash to begin with.
And should have never gotten that extension. Agree or disagree?
The extension never should have happened. We'll have a lot of people in New Jersey that won't like us for that, but you know what? That's the reality. It never should have happened. The guy that should have been extended should still be here.
Yep. Andrew Brunette should have still been on this team and coached this team.
For better or for worse, Brunette is a younger guy who has the pulse of playing downhill hockey way better than Lindy Ruff does.
So what you're saying is it was Brunette last year that was the reason the Devils went on a 13-game winning streak and played the way they played. Because we're seeing the Devils of a Lindy Ruff coach team prior to Brunette getting there.
Yep.
I mean, let's be honest. And then there's Minnesota, where they get rid of Dean Evison, 7-game losing streak, and John Hines is back in this league for his third.
The guy. Look. They say cats have 9 lives. Oh, screw this. This guy has 18 lives.
He really does. I mean, look, Minnesota gets the push from the new coach, and everything. They've looked better. I just think Dean Evison just lost that room, and guys just didn't want to play and all that jazz. Look, they've looked good in 2 games. It's the new coach bump. We're gonna see what this Minnesota team is really made of.
Still can't kill penalties.
No, I still can't kill penalties. No,
they can't kill penalties. They can't get timely saves, and unfortunately, I mean, last I checked, where's their stars at?
Ain't around. And I got a feeling. Somebody asked me this today, and I want to bring this to you. I think Kirill Kaprizov is still hurt. I don't think he's 100%.
I would not doubt that. And by the way, the injury ninja would like to report that one of his fantasy players, of course, that he just picked up last week, was on a good run. Charlie Lindgren. Of course, you're hurt again.
Of course.
Come
on, bro. What are you doing?
I know. I say this all the time, but it's like it must be Christmas cookie season. It's the only way. It's the only way to explain it. All these injuries are starting to happen. We had gotten the injury list down under 100 today.
Wow.
Probably by Monday. It's like, no, darn it,
No. But look, Minnesota, they had to make a coaching change. They had no choice. This team just wasn't performing under Dean Evison. We knew the problems from the playoffs, documented the shorthanded problems. But you could see the body language on the bench, the body language with the interviews, the team. Guys just weren't playing well. So they had to make a coaching change. Again, it doesn't help when defensively you're not playing well, not getting a save. Top players aren't showing up. Oh, hey, doesn't that sound like the Devils and or Oilers? Okay. So they make the coaching change. Chris Knobloch's doing well in Edmonton. Let's see what John Hines has made there. Again, that's why I bring up Lindy Ruff and the Devils. We got to talk about DJ Smith in Ottawa, though. I mean, like, when does patience run out, and when is too much too much? Because I do believe he is not coming back at the end of this season, but it's going to come down to ownership saying, hey, wait a minute. We saw what happened in Edmonton and in Minnesota. There's expectations on those teams. Why aren't the expectations in Ottawa the same? Because we're supposed to be better with this talent.
Man, at some point, they got to pull the Band-Aid off.
Right?
I mean, this should have been done a little more. This has been a move that's been more than a year in coming.
Right.
And everybody's wondering, well, when is it going to happen? When is it? I know it just because it's a fact. Fans are tuning out. I mean, sure, they're winning tonight. That's great.
Let's see if they hold the lead.
Yeah,
because that's a problem.
It just went. They're fine.
It just went final.
Yeah, they're good. They're okay there. And the amazing part is, basically, if you had told me that their goaltending went and was amazing tonight, it's something else. Somebody forgot to tell Brady Tkachuk that the game started too. By the way,
it's all right. It happens.
Yeah, I mean he did a total clunk on me. For us, those that don't know, him and Jack Hughes kind of had a streak going back and forth where they both had like 5+ shots a game for like 5-6 games in a row.
Yeah.
Brady Tkachuk ran out of gas tonight. The wheels fell off.
But he did.
The bottom line is, Iowa won tonight 2-0 behind 39 saves from Anton Forsberg. So actually,
solid game by Forsberg.
Look, Seattle outplayed Ottawa and just couldn't score. And it doesn't help that, yes, I get it. They're missing Schwartz. It's a huge injury.
But they couldn't score with him in the lineup anyway.
But he was their only scorer. That's kind of like how do you put this? It's kind of like a catch-22 mixed with sort of Spaceballs like comic relief.
It's not funny.
It's like, what are you going to score? Now. What do you mean now? Well, now. But we're then and now. And that's kind of, I mean, for what it's worth, Seattle offensively just,
not good. Not good. Defensively, they're not the same. They don't have a goaltending. There's a lot of issues in Seattle right now.
There's a lot of teams that are kind of in this boat right now, unfortunately, where it's like they should be better, they're not better.
Record says like Toronto,
no, better. Because I said this when the guy came back. He came back too soon.
Yes.
The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Vasilevsky, 100%. Vasilevsky does not look like himself. He looks nothing like the guy that he was last year. He still looks like the guy that was hurt. We both said it. There was no reason to rush him back. This team was playing actually better with Jonas Johansson in between the pipes because now they're back to their old ways. Well, Vasilevsky's there. Well, Vasilevsky's not 100%.
And it showed today.
Against Dallas. And oh, by the way, it's funny that Montreal and Detroit are playing on a Saturday night on the anniversary of when Patrick Waugh got lit up by Detroit and then told Mario Tremblay.
Isn't that nuts?
Right? How funny is that?
All those years. All right. So, wow. So you're thinking about December 2nd, 1990. Holy crap. So you think about it. That was 28 years ago.
Right. And they're playing in Montreal.
I mean,
and it's Detroit and Montreal in Montreal.
By the way, thank you, Lyle Richardson, for kindly pointing this out, because I almost forgot this morning when I started looking at the schedule. I'm like, wait a minute, December 2nd, isn't that? And he's like,
Patrick Waugh Day.
yup, that's Patrick.
Patrick Waugh
That's the
Day.
Patrick Waugh screw job day.
Yep. I mean, again, I don't understand what they were thinking keeping him in a route like that, but I would have been mad too. And Patrick Waugh said, "Yo, I'm out." He's like, "Trade me now." He's like, "Yo, out the door." But it's just funny to see all these different things happen in the NHL right now. Like I mentioned, Brendan Smith. Like, look, we could touch on this real quick. I mean, I know it's a tough job, but like, come on, can we get some consistency? And let's not call it the Department of Player Safety anymore. Let's call it the Department of Player Discipline, because that's what it is. It's not player safety.
You mean the New York Rangers right hand at this point?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're starting to go down a very slippery slope again, where we saw this a few times before, i.e. the Colin Campbell era.
Right. Where things that weren't called, where he was associated with certain teams, guys got away scot-free. Other teams, guys got the rule book thrown at them.
Yeah, it is starting to get trouble. Let's be honest.
Look, they had a good start, and it's tailed off tremendously. I don't care, accident or not, I don't care. You cannot swing your stick at another player's head.
No.
That's at least a minimum of a game suspension. Minimum.
Oh, by the way, Boston.
Boston.
Oopsies.
Trent Frederick.
How crazy is that? So Frederick
man.
Yeah,
Frederick made it
less than 6 seconds left in regulation, by the way.
Yep.
And it's funny too, because my feed, it accidentally jumped to 0 and then was like, nah, oops. Somebody forgot to put the little like middle line in. So it was like 8, 7, 6. It just went to 0. Great job. Great job, Toronto clock.
Right, exactly. But what I was saying is, like, look, if I was in doing this, right?
Detroit.
Like if I was part of the PA and we had this hearing, I'm Brendan Smith's lawyer, right? And we're gonna go to the law room, but again, you can't, but you can. You cannot set a precedent for a stick to the head, accident or not, at 5K.
I can't. I mean, look. All right, so here's some of the things that happen that set this up. Obviously, everybody talks about the Jacob Trouba stick swinging incident with Trent Frederick. Part of the problem with the Trouba stick swing is this, and there's two problems with this. One, his stick was held. That's one kind of like, it's a slight mitigating factor. However, if you watch the video, no matter which angle you see, the intent is there.
Oh, 100% it is.
So that's where you have to look at this. You also have to look at the fact that the repeat offender rule is kind of an arbitrary, laughable sort of entity in the NHL.
Yeah, because isn't it 3 years, then we go reset the clock?
And technically you have to be suspended.
Right.
So, I mean, if a player... Look, Tom Wilson got off with more fines than...
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, let's call this for what it is. I mean, some players just managed to just skate like on such thin ice that... And yet they did it. Before things reset, and that can't happen. If you have a fine and you get popped again, you should be a repeat offender. This isn't hard.
No, it isn't. And look, his hits, they're definitely borderline. He plays a hard physical game within the rules. Yes, there are some borderline hits, but there is no excuse for swinging at somebody's head.
Nope.
Because I believe Todd Bertuzzi got 23 games for swinging his stick. Oh, no, Marty McSorley. It was Marty McSorley on Donald Brashear. Got 23 games.
The chop. Yeah.
At a guy's head.
Yeah.
Like, that's one game. Like I said, accident or not, you still have to be control of your own stick. And I understand why Brendan Smith got suspended, but there was a cross-check that was fine as well. So again, if I'm in the room and I'm doing this, be like, well, and the lawyer in me is going to say, well, you set the precedent. You basically said it's open season with your stick because you can swing it above somebody's shoulder,
right,
in the head regardless, and it's 5K. So that's the standard, and that's the precedent.
Yeah, and you're looking from Brendan Smith's point of view that, hey, not for nothing, but it's being talked about in the room more than likely that, hey, New Jersey players are being targeted upside down and sideways. The league isn't really going to do anything about it, so it's up to us to do something about it.
Right.
That's the reality. It's where we are.
And the policing of the game is gone.
Right. So the players are still going to try to police the game and be willing to take the consequences of their actions at this point because they know something's going to come down, and it's going to come down on a team that's trying to defend itself.
Right, exactly. And that's where you have to set precedent higher.
Maybe it won't happen as often.
Right. So say Jacob Trouba had to sit for one game. Guys are going to take notice and be like, all right, well, I shouldn't be doing that. They'll probably still do it, but at least, okay, well, if I do it, I'm getting one game. Or I'll get 2 games, but he got 1 game. So, okay. But 2 games to 5K fine. Where's it's the teeter-totter's off a little bit here.
A little bit.
Just a tad. What up?
There's time.
Oh, there's definitely time. There's definitely time to make
the blown lead is a thing tonight. 3 overtimes are going on simultaneously at one point?
No, I know it's crazy.
Sorry, Detroit. We just wanted another draw to come up so bad.
Exactly. That it did.
It is the weekend of the draw. I don't know.
I
don't know what this is, but look, I'll take the gift.
Another OT, baby.
Yep. Detroit ended that as quick as anything. So
yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The Flyers would have win in the shootout over the Penguins. Get another up and down team. You don't know what Penguins team you're getting week to week. Like, you really don't. They good, they're bad. Oh, by the way, congrats, Tristan Jarry, goalie goal, man. Congrats, man. What a goal, man.
You see the English on that goal?
That was a nice goal, by the way.
Ooh, that was sweet. All right. Lesson learned on that one, but oof.
Absolutely. All right, so we're after dark here. We got to talk about it. I don't want to touch on it too much because it's a personal matter, but Corey Perry incident in Chicago. Again, there's still more questions and answers in regards to what actually happened, why. Again, let's get it out of the way. All the rumors about players, teammates, family members, completely disgusting and completely out of line and completely wrong. So stop believing what you believe on the internet because it's completely wrong. Trust everybody that you know is a viable source because they have the answers. All that other stuff was complete BS. As far as Corey Perry goes, I hope he gets the help that he needs. Clearly, some alcohol-related issue, some mental health issues, something went down when he was in Nashville, led to some stuff in Cologne, whatever. It doesn't matter. We just hope he gets the help that he needs.
Right.
Because it's a weird situation. Because you can't say a lot. The team can't say a lot. The player can't say a lot because there's probably lawyers involved. Yep. And that's why there's more questions than answers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no way we're going to know.
No.
Probably better off that way.
Exactly. We're better off that way. Just let it set and go. It's totally fine. It's crazy. But, hey, this is the world we live in. But hopefully, like I said, Corey Perry gets the help that he needs. Connor Bedard's playing well. He got another goal against Winnipeg. So, look, it's, Chicago's a mess. But, again, it's Chicago. I know they understand that they can't have the benefit of the doubt. They had to be squeaky clean like a certain wrestler when he was in AEW before he went back to WWE. You had to be able to just fly under the radar. You had to stay out of trouble. Can't have a PR nightmare. They did. It's unfortunate.
QBR nightmare.
It just is unfortunate. But look, it's Saturday. We told you we bring Pucks After Dark back. It wasn't just a one-time deal, people. We told you it was coming back.
This
we
is
did.
the way.
This is the way. It is the only way. But look, like I said, the National Hockey League, so much going on here on a Saturday night. Wouldn't you love to see like the Frozen Frenzy like back when we had like last week on that Friday or something?
Oh,
like
that would have been
so
great.
many missed opportunities, right?
I mean, that would have been perfect to do.
Oh, how funny is that?
Wah, wah, wah,
Wah,
wah,
wah.
wah.
Brad Marchand with the winner.
The rat face ghost killer.
The guy who's the most hated man in Toronto.
Well, you got to think about this too, though. So, Matthew scores with less than 10 seconds in regulation. Marchand's like, hey, anything you can do?
I can do better.
A little better.
Yep.
I'll score at less than 10 seconds left in, as Rick Johnner said, overtime. And end it.
Hey, real quick, this is Pucks After Dark after all. Did you see this? And we just got to go off topic real quick. This quick college football note. Apparently, there is a Cedar Rapids golf bar offering free beer until Iowa scores, essentially a free blackout. Wow, that's crazy. Man,
that is beautiful.
That's crazy.
I think my high school football team could score on Michigan before Iowa does.
I think so too. I think that's going to happen. I'm surprised it's not bigger than that. But back to the hockey. Look, what a night it's been. You know, ton of great games. Started this afternoon. I mean, look, so many one-goal games, so many high-scoring affairs. And, you know, it's interesting that, like, you know, Arizona playing so well at home. They're still in the mix. Like, you look at these standings, right? And I think this is a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
There's, like, you look at it, right? Everybody's so close that this trade deadline is going to be crazy. And even the teams that we think are out of it are really not out of it because the separation isn't that far away. That's why, like, teams that really think they're playoff contenders and should be better where they are, and they give away points, i.e. New Jersey to Columbus and San Jose, should be there. Should be right in the mix. But those are points you just can't give away.
And there's, well, look. I mean, the one thing New Jersey has going for it is teams like Tampa Bay that are equally giving points away. And
I mean, that's a tough, you know, Dallas is a tough place to play.
I understand that, but they're hemorrhaging. They're still hemorrhaging points. They shouldn't be a 500 team.
And let's be honest, if the Devils actually showed up and played against Washington, that's 4 points they should have.
Oh, without a doubt.
And they could be in third right now in the Metro.
They could.
Because they have the same goal differential as the Washington Capitals.
Mm-hmm.
They have a better goal differential than the Islanders, who are sitting in the second wild card spot right now.
Yeah, if it wasn't for, let's put it this way, if it wasn't for Charlie Lindgren right now, Washington would probably be last in the Metro. Or darn
close. Exactly.
Which is pretty crazy to believe, but on December 2nd, here we are.
And everything's just so tight. That's why, you know, again, we say American Thanksgiving, but is it really? Because everything's just so close right now. I think we know who the good teams are, but do we really know who those wild card teams are? Because I say Toronto, like they're 12-6-3, but are they? Their eye test says something different.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, look.
And Florida's actually turning in one of the better teams in the league right now. They look like that President's Trophy team. You know, Boston's still there. You got Rangers in the East. I mean,
can the Rangers stay healthy?
Right. Can they keep it going? Can Quick keep it going? Right.
Yeah, that's going to be a question because let's face it. I know Ranger guys disagree with this, but the reality is Laviolette puts guys in the grinder. And his teams do tend to break down late in seasons.
Right. Is Quick going to be the guy that he's been thus far this season?
I don't know, but so far it's been pretty fun to watch.
It has been. Look, people say, oh, well, Jonathan Quick in Edmonton. I was like, Jonathan Quick in Edmonton would not be the Jonathan Quick he is right now because the defense in New York is way better.
Right.
Like the reason why he was so good in Vegas, the defense was better. Now,
of course,
Jonathan Quick in LA with the defense they have in LA, I think maybe we see that Jonathan Quick again. But now, I'm not so sure. It's very interesting. So many things to dissect as we get through the rest of the season, as things come about. But we just had to hit some big headlines here. We had to bring it back. Pucks After Dark here on a Saturday. It's a jam-packed day. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Braden, Kyle with the comments. Love it. This has been Pucks After Dark on the Full Press Hockey Weekly Show. Been your host, Jim Berenger, Chris Vassell, my co-host, one of the best guys in the business, Ian behind the scenes. The NWO always rocks it at Full Press NHL on Twitter, Full Press Hockey Facebook, fullpresshockey.com, Full Press Coverage on Facebook, Full Press Coverage YouTube. Get it, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday and weekend.